When I was little, my father was famous. He was the greatest samurai in the empire.
Okay, so here's a concern of mine. Hey, everybody, my name is Jerry Williams, aka Greater Sapien. Thanks for stopping by. So, here's a concern of mine. I am genuinely concerned that Trump is going to refuse to leave office. Now, in the past, I've talked about it kind of flippantly that, man, he is not going to leave. That man wants to be in office. He's afraid of being convicted, whatever. He's not going to leave. And it's been kind of flippant. But I'm more and more every day getting genuinely concerned that he's going to refuse to leave. And someone sent me a question the other day that said, what indicators do I have that he would refuse to leave? Well, every day I seem to see another that tells me that he is going to do everything he can. He's going to fight to stay in office. Now, some of you may say, well, he's the president. There's a campaign. He should fight to stay in office. I didn't say he was going to fight and try his hardest to get reelected. He's going to try to stay in office. Whether or not he's reelected, he's going to try to stay in office. He's not trying to win reelection. Now, why do I say that? Well, over the past months, he has repeatedly claimed that the only way he can lose is if there's fraud. It's, he's trying to speak that into existence. The only way he can lose is if there's fraud. The only way he can lose is if there's fraud. He's not saying it's going to be fraudulent and I got to make sure that the right person wins. He's saying if I lose, it's because of fraud. So he's already throwing it out there. They're even saying that fraud is currently happening. He said the other day that these ballots are fraudulent, like they exist. This is happening right now. Fraud is happening.
The whole thing with your balloting and what's going on with balloting will prove to be one of the great catastrophes in the history of our country, even beyond elections. And the Democrats know it. They know what's going on. They know how it's going on. Who's getting it? Who's sending it? Where is it going? Where is it coming back? Where is it coming from? Are mailmen involved? Who's delivering it? It's a very, very, and they know it's going to be. And all you have to do is look at, as in a case in West Virginia, but many cases, I would say every single case in the last number of years where they've done this, and this is a tiny scale compared to millions and millions of ballots that are being sent. This is going to be one of the great catastrophes and one of the great embarrassments in the history of our country, beyond elections. And the Democrats know it, and they're setting it up for chaos, and that's what they've done.
He's even gotten the Justice Department in on the story. Bill Barr the other day, he said that in Texas, a man was convicted of voter fraud for 1,700 ballots or something like that. And the Texas authorities said, no, that's not what happened. It's not what happened at all. And that this gentleman ran a business where they, picked up ballots, whatever, and they transported it where they were supposed to go. And I believe there was one signature that a person said he turned in a ballot that was blank or something and either got a signature or it had a signature and it got there. But there was just one person that said that wasn't proper. I messed it up and it shouldn't have been sealed or something like that. That was it. But Barr said 1,700 ballots were found fraudulent and someone was convicted for it. He's perpetuating this widespread fraud concept. And he will be part of the investigation. He will be claiming fraud and proclaiming things fraudulent in order to help Trump get reelected. Well, to get selected. Trump has vowed to have police or National Guard at polling places to watch and make sure that things are appropriate. Now, call me biased, but I have a feeling that the police are going to be showing up at minority populated polling places, low income polling places, as a form of voter intimidation. Maybe the lines are really long and you don't want to stay there because the police are hovering around you. So then you just don't vote. Now that's not fraudulent, that's just voter intimidation. But he's laying out this groundwork. He's laying the carpet for this is fraudulent. Widespread fraud is happening. And the last is this fight over the Supreme Court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death has left an opening, and they need to replace her. Now, it can be done by this president, the next president. There's no time constraint on how long it takes. Normally, they have to vet a person and then have hearings and debate and things like that, which end up taking weeks. There are currently only, I think, 10, maybe less by the time I upload this, working days for the Senate before the election. Yet they're going to try. Trump is insisting that they get a Supreme Court justice in there before the election, which says they're just going to, whoever his first pick is, they're going to, yeah, let's go with that. We're not going to vet them. We're not even going to have interviews with them. We're just going to do it. Great way to hire somebody. But why do they need to get this person in so quickly? We could speculate, but we don't need to, because Trump has said that we need to have 9 justices so that there's no chance of a tie when I sue to have the election results overturned. He's already proclaimed that the election is a scam. It's fraudulent, especially if he loses. I got a feeling if he wins, he's not going to say it's fraudulent. Not at all. But he sees himself losing because he knows he's incredibly unpopular and he lost a popular vote last time. So he's declared that this election will be fraudulent and that he will be contesting it. And he wants to make sure that he has a justice in there that will ensure that a tie will be broken in his favor. That's not wanting to be reelected. That's saying, I know I'm going to lose, but I'm going to complain to the ref. And I'm going to make sure that the refs are in there that already want me to win. That's what he's saying. He's just outright saying it. So, I think he's going to try to steal it. I think he's not going to leave. And it's going to get really ugly. I honestly don't know what we're going to look like after this. It's going to be tough. The only way I think that it can possibly go well is if it's such a blowout against him, or an incredible blowout in his favor. Actually, that's probably the safest way. A blowout in his favor, then he'll shut up. But if he gets blown out, he's going to fight. He's going to declare war on the American system. And then when people that he has appointed to the Supreme Court declare him the winner
in this election, will you commit here today for a peaceful transferal of power after the election? And there has been rioting in Louisville. There's been rioting in many cities across this country, red and your so-called red and blue states. Will you commit to making sure that there is a peaceful transferal of power after the election?
Well, we're going to have to see what happens. You know that I've been complaining very strongly about the ballots, and the ballots are a disaster.
I understand that, but people are rioting. Do you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transferal of power?
We want to get rid of the ballots, and we'll have a very peaceful. There won't be a transfer, frankly. There'll be a continuation.
I don't know what's going to happen.
That's my job. That's what I do. I don't lose. I win. I win. Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Maybe you came by to congratulate me on last night's victory.